In this video, I'm going to go over 4 tips to getting through finals week. For almost all students, this week is incredibly stressful, and for a good reason. The final exam is the exclamation point at the end of the course, and because you know the difference in your grade that the final can make, it often leaves students stressed and frantic. I remember when I was going through college and I had those classes where I knew I was on the borderline between 2 grades, I usually felt very stressed walking into some finals because I wanted to maintain the highest grade possible. One of the challenges of finals week is that you have to study for all of your classes in 1 week, and on top of that, you are often running on less than optimal sleep, which increases fatigue over time. Finals week will test your limits, but if you keep these tips in mind, you will be on your way to a successful finals week. The first tip is studying. Now I know this one is obvious and a no-brainer, but it needs to be said. Hopefully studying for finals is more about reminding yourself and re-examining what you learned over the course of the quarter or semester, and you aren't trying to teach yourself an entire term's worth of material in 1 weekend. The more prepared you are, the more confident you will feel, and the better you will perform. Do your best to limit your distractions and avoid checking social media. A general rule for when you study for finals week is that you should avoid multitasking. When it's time to study, you should focus on the material you need to learn and put your phone on airplane mode or turn it off, and avoid using Facebook. Long periods of studying can be draining, and over time your ability to focus might diminish. For this reason, it is important you take strategic breaks, and you can use your breaks to have a stretch, go for a walk, check Facebook, text your friends, or whatever it takes to help you recharge and clear your head. Every person is going to have their own study secrets, tips, and tricks, but let's go over some general guidelines. First, you want to plan out when you have finals week, how much time you think you might need for every course, and plan out the most important things you need to learn. In terms of environment, now I already discussed that you should silence your cell phone, but another thing you want to do is put yourself in a quiet and study-friendly environment. When approaching engineering or science problems, you should start by looking over your old exams and analyzing what you got wrong, why you got it wrong, and study those concepts and practice problems first. Here are some study tips I have found to be the most efficient way to study for exams that require mathematics and problem solving. They include find practice problems in your book, attempt to complete those practice problems before you refer to your notes, then when you get stuck or don't know what comes next, then go to your notes. Look over your notes and find out where you made a mistake and what you should do next, then complete the problem with the help of your notes and then repeat that process. The best way to maximize efficiency during finals week is use the weekend before finals week to focus on studying. This will be the one time you don't have to commute to campus for exams or plan your studying around exams. Use this weekend to isolate yourself in your room or carve out a nice section in the library. This might mean you have to decline social engagements like a lunch date or even stay in on a Friday or Saturday night. There will be many other weekends for lunch dates and parties. Spend this weekend studying. One thing that might be helpful for studying is by studying in a group of 2 to 3 people and take turns explaining problems to each other as if you were teaching it to the other person. Talking a problem out and fully explaining a problem to another person, even if they know how to solve it, will refine your understanding for the concept. Studying in a group is not required, but it can be helpful. However, you want to be very selective who you let into your study group. Lastly, my personal recommendation is to not exceed 3 or 4 people in the group, because a study session with more than 4 people in it has a tendency to be more of a distraction than productive. Now let's talk about sleeping. Despite what you might think, you need to sleep. The all-nighter is a common practice, and sometimes it is necessary to finish a project before a deadline, but do yourself a favor and get some sleep during finals week. An all-nighter early in the week will only set you up for failure and fatigue later in the week. If you are fatigued and it's 3 a.m. before your test, staying up 1 more hour to solve more problems is likely not going to make or break your grade. In fact, staying up that extra hour might even decrease your ability to recall the information you already studied. You will likely feel fatigued over the course of the week, but you should try and get as much sleep as you possibly can. Everyone is unique in their sleep requirements, but the general recommendation is adults need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. Whatever enough sleep is for you normally, do your best to get close to that every night. Because of the amount of work that you will have during finals week, 7 hours of sleep might be unfeasible. As I mentioned earlier, pace out your finals week and get as much sleep as you can. In addition, a 10 to 30 minute nap can give you a boost you need to get through your next study session. It can also improve alertness and memory recall. You should avoid napping longer than 45 minutes or else you'll risk feeling groggy when you wake up. Lastly, try implementing coffee naps. If you're not familiar with a coffee nap, what you do is you drink a cup of coffee right before you plan to take a nap. Set your timer for 15 to 30 minutes, and by the time you wake up, the caffeine from the coffee will have started to take effect, and you will also have the cognitive boost from your nap. Tip number 3 is you need to eat well during finals week. Another big thing that students let slip as soon as final week hits is their diet. Having to make individual meals during finals can be a huge inconvenience and time waster, so planning ahead is the most efficient way to properly fuel throughout the week. The easiest way to get through finals week and eat healthy is prepare ahead of time. Either prepare your own meals for the week or go to the grocery store and buy a week's worth of pre-made meals. By having a little forethought in what you will eat over the course of the week, you will save yourself from the unhealthy impulse buy. Without going into too much detail and turning this into a nutrition class, focus your diet on foods that will satisfy you and keep your energy levels up. Focus your diet around fruits, lots of vegetables, proteins, and complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes and oatmeal. Almonds and nuts are a healthy snack, but just don't get carried away. And last is exercise. One of the first things that students ditch when they get busy with school is exercise. At college gyms, it certainly seems like everyone stops going to the gym during finals week. When you are in the middle of finals week, it might feel like you are just too busy to exercise, but even a simple 15 to 20 minute walk would be beneficial. Short 15 to 20 minute walks are also a great way to implement breaks into your study sessions. By getting up and moving, stretching, and walking, this will help give your brain a break and allow you to come back stronger and recharged. Going out for a light walk will help reduce stress, improve mental clarity, and overall improve your mood. Exercise will give your brain the break it needs from the relentless grind of finals week. Lastly, it will allow you to store more information when you return to the books. And something else I want to say, especially for those in high school, in college, pluses and minuses matter when it comes to GPA, as in a B+, a B, and a B- are all different in terms of GPA. So instead of trying to stay within 10 points of a letter grade, you're trying to stay within around 3 or 4 points. Now, I can't say this is true with every college, but with mine and the friends I talked to, this was all true. So if you have an 85% going into the final, you just need to get up to maybe an 87% rather than a 90% for your GPA to increase. But on the downside, if you just lose a few points and go down to maybe an 82%, that will lower your GPA, which I can tell you is very frustrating. And most of my finals were worth about 40% of my grade in college, but with some worth 50 and even a few worth 60%, every extra point you can get on a final exam really matters. In conclusion, finals week is the time for you to dig a little deeper and finish out your term strong. This week can be a stressful time, but with the proper planning and focus, you can excel throughout the week. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.